In a split second, the sound of train wheels shifts from a calm rhythm of travel to the warning sign of a disaster. The train moves forward, passengers feeling safe, and suddenly everything flips upside down. True stories, hundreds of victims, and catastrophes that reshaped the rules of railway safety across the globe. Welcome to Attention. Let's dive into the 10 deadliest train disasters in history and see how each one forced the world to rethink safety forever. But before we begin, if you're into real stories, mystery, and edge-of-your-seat suspense, hit subscribe and turn on the bell so you never miss what's coming next, because what's ahead is more shocking than what's behind. The Queen of the Sea train was carrying over 1,500 passengers from Colombo to Galle. It stopped briefly near the village of Telwata, right as the massive 2004 tsunami hit the Sri Lankan coast. A 20-meter wave crashed onto the train and swept away the carriages like toys. Most passengers were trapped inside. Between 900 and 1,700 people died, making it the deadliest train disaster in recorded history. The site later became a memorial, and the tragedy pushed for better disaster alert systems. During World War I, a train overloaded with refugees and soldiers, many riding even on the roof, was descending a hill near Shureya station. The brakes failed. The train derailed at high speed and collided with a stationary one. A fire broke out due to leaking fuel. Around 800 to 1,000 people were killed, many burned beyond recognition. No full investigation was ever held, and victims were buried in mass graves. A brutal wartime tragedy, almost forgotten. So a train packed with families of Mexican Revolution soldiers was speeding down a mountain, and it was, really overloaded. The brakes just couldn't handle the weight, and, well, they failed completely. The train plunged into a deep ravine, and sadly, over 600 people lost their lives. This remains Mexico's deadliest rail tragedy, even today. Afterward, the government had to step in and limit maximum loads. Plus, they set stricter speed regulations. There were about 1,000 soldiers aboard 19 carriages, all returning from the Italian front. Because the wagons were overloaded and the brakes were honestly pretty poor, the train lost control on a downhill track and derailed. And to make things worse, soldiers were using candles inside the wooden coaches. A fire broke out, and tragically, over 675 soldiers died, with many burned alive. In response, France introduced sweeping rail safety reforms. Near the Ural Mountains, gas, leaking from an underground pipeline near the railway tracks, filled the air with propane and butane. At that exact moment, two passenger trains paced each other, and a spark set off a massive explosion. The blast tore through both trains, killing 575 people and injuring over 800. Investigations later revealed the government had actually shut down leak detection systems just to save money. That policy changed overnight after this horror. A train traveling from Addis Ababa to Djibouti derailed while crossing the Awash River bridge. Going too fast on a curve, 4 carriages flew off the bridge into the ravine below. At least 428 people were killed, and many more were injured. It's Ethiopia's worst train disaster. After this tragedy, the government invested in better bridge inspections and driver training. During a sudden storm, A passenger train was crossing a bridge in Bihar when the driver allegedly braked to avoid hitting a cow. Several coaches fell into the raging river below. At least 500 people died, though many say it was even more. The government revised monsoon season safety protocols and built better warning systems in vulnerable areas. Inside a narrow tunnel, 3 trains collided due to signal failure and brake malfunction. A massive fire broke out, spreading quickly in the tight space. Over 500 passengers died, mostly from burns or smoke inhalation. Spain changed how it managed tunnels and signals nationwide as a result. In a night train heading to Upper Egypt, a gas stove being used by a passenger ignited a fire. The flames spread rapidly through 7 carriages, trapping people inside. At least 361 people died. Many suffocated or burned. Public outrage forced Egypt to update safety systems and ban open flames aboard trains. During a crowded festival in Amritsar, spectators stood on railway tracks to watch fireworks. A train came without warning, striking and killing around 60 people. The tragedy raised serious questions about event planning near active railway lines, leading to tougher permits for events near tracks. These weren't just train crashes. They were moments that changed lives, governments, and entire industries. Every tragedy left behind grief and lessons. If you want more stories like this, hit that like button, subscribe to Attention, and turn on the bell. And tell us in the comments, which disaster shocked you the most? Should we dive deeper into any one of them in a full episode? See you in the next video. Stay safe.